Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another fresh out of the movie theater edition of Wade Watches. I'm Wade, and I love doing these fresh out of the movie theater reviews. I really do. There's just something really special about reviewing a film while you're still at the theaters and having just seen it. I don't know. I just really love it. But anyway, today I just got through watching Nosferatu, and I'm going to talk about it. So, first thing to say is that this was easily one of my most anticipated films of the year. I'm a huge fan of Eggers. I love The Witch. I loved The Lighthouse. I really love the Northman. So it's safe to say I was definitely going into this hoping that Robert Eggers would be 4 for 4. I was hoping to love this as much as I loved those other 3 films, and I almost did. I came really close to loving this, but as it stands, I just really liked it. But I didn't quite love it. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the good stuff. Let's start off with the stuff that really did make this work. Firstly, the cast, man. Everybody here was like bringing their A game, and I was kind of like chuckling to myself while watching this. This was just in the back of my mind. I know it's probably not true at all, probably very inaccurate, but I was thinking about how great Nicholas Hoult and Aaron Taylor Johnson were in these movies, and just kind of like just thinking about the fact that both are associated with vampire films that didn't have the warmest receptions. You know, of course, Nicholas Hoult was Renfield in the Renfield movie where Nicolas Cage was Dracula, where I remember that movie just being like serviceable, fine, but it didn't always stick the landing. And of course, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who still has his film is still in theaters, Kraven the Hunter, which obviously doesn't feature Morbius, but is in the same universe as Morbius. And usually, when people talk about those two films, it's not with the most, it's not with a lot of enthusiasm. But that being said, I know I'm like maybe the only person on earth, maybe one of 2 people maximum, but I don't hate those movies, and in fact, I had some fun with them. Not going to apologize for that, but for the most part, they're not received well. Kraven the Hunter is not getting a lot of love right now, so it was funny watching this and seeing how great they were in this, bringing their A game to it, bringing their effort, really making me feel like that desperation, really making me feel their affliction. Really great seeing them here. So they were great. Lily Rose Depp definitely brings that romantic element to this, gothic, this romantic gothic horror tale. Of course, the original Dracula, which the original Nosferatu film is based on, was pretty much a gothic romance, not always a straight up horror story. They faithfully they get that right here. She really sold me on the fact that this isn't a straight up scary story. This is kind of, like I said, a gothic horror romance. She really made that work. Bill Skarsgård, man, wow. His take on Nosferatu. At first, okay, I was being a bit petty, I admit. There's something, so he doesn't look the way I expect him to look without giving anything away. And as a matter of fact, there's even something about his appearance where I was like, it's not terrible. There's nothing inherently wrong about it, but it's distracting as hell. But Bill Skarsgård, man, really knows how to disappear into these monstrous roles. And to the point where I forgot I was watching the actor. I thought I was, looking at the real Nosferatu. So that one key aspect, that one key element to his appearance might have been distracting initially, but as the movie went on, he really sold it. The voice is perfect. The look became perfect after a while. He's perfect as Nosferatu. That guy was born to play monsters. He is the modern day Lon Chaney or modern day Boris Karloff, whichever you prefer. I love Bill Skarsgård in this. Willem Dafoe, man. It was great to see Willem Dafoe, because I feel like he's always, lately he's always been cast as, the antagonist, the insane bad guy. It was great to see him bring those eccentricities to, a good guy role, the role of a protagonist, because he's essentially Van Helsing, only not in name, because just like the original Nosferatu from 1922, all the names were changed, and the names are changed here. There are no names used, there are no names from Bram Stoker's Dracula in this version of Nosferatu, just as with the previous versions of Nosferatu. And yeah, he, again, going back to that, he really made it work. I totally was able to buy him as pretty much, the kooky professor type. I really liked seeing him there. And need I say it, this movie looks gorgeous. Eggers really nails the look of a proper gothic horror story. Nothing but gray skies, dark blue colors, foggy foggy skies and foggy streets really nails it down. He clearly has, an affinity for gothic horror stories, gothic film, that gothic look, and even that German expressionist look, and I love seeing that. However, all that good stuff being said, the climax to the ending really lost me. The build-up was phenomenal, fantastic. It was messing with my mind, causing me to trip out, just like the lighthouse and the witch. I loved that Eggers carried that over to, carried that to the first act of Nosferatu, where it was getting in my head, it was surreal. I was wondering whether, just like the characters, whether everything is as it seems. Did that really happen, or was I just imagining it? That was perfect. But at a point, again, precisely at the climax, when the rising action builds up and it's like, okay, we gotta do this thing, that's when it just kind of like played it a way too straight for me, where I knew everything that was gonna happen. I knew where it was going. There were no more trippy sequences or like really like stuff that messed with my head. Nothing like that to be had at that point. It just really, really plays it straight. It's kind of like, okay, guys, we got to do the thing. Let's go do the thing, and that's the rest of the movie. And again, the talent in front of the screen is phenomenal. So it wasn't bugging me too much because everyone was still bringing it, but I just felt that it was weaker than that dreamlike, nightmarish first half that I really, really enjoyed. And again, I'm not gonna call it terrible. I kind of, because I've seen the original Nosferatu, I kind of knew where it was going to go, and I understand that, like some versions of A Christmas Carol, sometimes people don't feel the need to put this wholly unique spin on it just because it's a classic story and we got to do something. We might have to update it or, put a twist on it. Some people don't feel the need to do that. Some people feel like they can just, make a very faithful adaptation. Kenneth Branagh does it well with Shakespeare, and Robert Eggers really, for the most part, did it well with Nosferatu. So I understand why he might not have felt the need to do all this crazy stuff near the climax and the ending. Like, let's just wrap it up like the original story wrapped up. But it definitely left more to be desired. So wrapping it up, I'm struggling between an 8.5 or a 9 for Nosferatu. I'm going to go ahead and give Nosferatu a 9 out of 10 because I really love the performances here. I really love the look of it, and I really did adore the build-up, the first half all the way up to the climax. The ending isn't terrible, but it just wasn't as creepy, as surreal, as mind-fucking, frankly, for lack of a better word, as the first half was. But this still really, really works. It's a solid gothic romance. I like how it is faithful to Bram Stoker's original novel, not just the original Nosferatu film and screenplay, but the original novel, because it brings that to the screen. This isn't, if you're looking for just like straight up horror movie, jump scares, blood and gore, of course you're going to get some of that. And there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of gore, there's a lot of hacking of limbs, but don't expect it to be like just this straight up, vampire going around attacking people for 2 hours horror movie, because this is for all intents and purposes a gothic romance like the original. And I appreciate Robert Eggers for bringing that over. I do appreciate the slow burn. I do appreciate the twisted romantic element and all that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a Nosferatu a 9 out of 10 because there was more in here that I really did like and enjoy than I disliked. Because even when it did, in my opinion, lose its momentum, I was still digging it. Everybody on screen was still able to sell it for me, to convey the urgency. But the ending in particular, like the very, very end, was kind of like, oh man, I wish you would have done more with that. I wish you would have, slowed down and built up to that a little bit more, because it just kind of wraps up. But, as it stands, I still really had a good time with Nosferatu. I still enjoyed it, and I still appreciate what Eggers was trying to do with it. But it's definitely the weakest of his filmography so far, which still isn't that terrible of a thing, because this is still a really, really good movie. And again, I give Nosferatu a 9 out of 10. I almost gave it an 8.5, but then I thought to myself, nah, there was a lot of stuff I really liked about this. There's a lot of things that were done here that I really did enjoy. The main thing, the titular character himself, was really solid. So 9 out of 10 for Nosferatu. This has been another edition of Wade Watches, and I'll see you lovely people next time. If you've seen Nosferatu and want to let me know what you think in the comments below, feel free to do so, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace. Peace.